let's talk about chisels. Well, I made the fatal mistake of watching some YouTubers, yeah. And these are YouTubers that I actually like watching. But they were dismissing my favourite chisels, they were, and that will not do. So allow me to defend my favourite chisels, okay? Well, you see, today, woodworkers tend to use these things. They're called a bevel-edged chisel. Well, modern incarnations of bevel-edged chisels aren't really bevel-edged chisels. They're kind of like halfway there to being a bevel-edged chisel. Now, I have made videos about that before. But you see, I've got food chisels here. I want to explain to you why they're actually important. To have the right tool for the job, you see. Yes. Now, unfortunately, modern tool manufacturers, and include some of the big names as well, has not got it right, including Eric's. They have got it very, very wrong. Well, you see, a modern bevel-edged chisel, such as, I don't know, maybe one that's Draper one here, for instance, isn't really a bevel-edged chisel at all. No, it's nearer to a firmer chisel than it is a bevel-edged chisel. In fact, it's as much good as a firmer chisel than a bevel-edged chisel. And if you want a bevel-edged chisel, you want a beveled edge, and that ain't really got one. It's too thick on the edge. On this face here, it's got a name, I can't remember what it's called now. Oh, blimey. Anyway, that's literally too thick. Okay, now, if I was to say to you, this is what I would call a bevel edge chisel, and this is a Stanley, yes. I think it's a 5002 Stanley. And if you look here, that bevel goes to a gnat's whisker, it does. It goes, well, about 32nd of an inch, about 1 millimetre, right to the edge of that bevel. I hope you can see that. Focus, focus. Anyway, so that is a bevel edge chisel, and it's great for paring across short distances. It's a really good chisel. You can pick these things up for, well, they practically give away. Cheap as chips. Well, fortunately, we have these things now. And pretty much all the modern incarnations of the bevel edge chisel ain't worth a sight. In fact, there doesn't seem to be any uniformity in their machining, because this one here, which is also a bevel edge chisel, that is more like I would call a bevel edge chisel. Yet the same brand from the same packet of chisels. Well, it doesn't make any sense. No. So basically, a poorly machined. Good steel actually in those Draper Expert, but the actual profiles are wrong. Now, I had the same problem with this footprint chisel. I've had this thing donkey's years. Now, I've actually had to reprofile, had to grind it all back on each face here to make it into what I would call a bevel edge chisel. It's thin on the edge, you see. Yeah, on the sides. That allows you to pare nice and easy. Paring is basically when you're going across the joint, you're trying to flatten it. Or you could be going, maybe doing your tenons or something like that. But if I was choosing a chisel to do my tenons, I would actually choose something like the firmer chisel. The good old-fashioned firmer chisel, which these YouTubers were dishing. They were dishing, tell you. I was annoyed. I was angry. I was going to write a letter. That I was. Well, you see, the firmer chisel is absolutely ideal when you're cleaning up the bottom of the shoulders of a tenon, for instance. You've got this half lap here. And the reason for that is because it fits, yeah? Perpendicular it is there, it's 90 degrees, and it fits into the corner. And why is that a good idea instead of using, say, for instance, the bevel edge chisel? Well, the problem here is you could be trying to pare it out here and get a little bit of material out of your, on the shoulders of your tenon, or in this case, a half lap. And what happens is that corner here, that pointy bit there, will just keep digging in. You just gouge all the sides of your tenon. Now, these are great, okay, if you're doing a dovetail. So if you want to clean up the shoulders around a dovetail, where you've got the pins and what have you, of your dovetail joint, makes perfect sense to use the bevel edge chisel, okay? Because the firmer chisel, such as this, I think it's a braids, Yes, braids. This braids chisel here, you wouldn't be able to get it into the edges of a dovetail, because obviously the dovetail's angular, and you wouldn't be able to get right in, would you? So that's where a nice thin-edged bevel-edged chisel makes perfect sense. But you see, the firmer chisel, because this is perpendicular, it's 90 degrees, you can use that as a way of making sure you're keeping your chisel perpendicular to your line. Okay? So you can see, you can eye down the sides of the chisel. It's actually really quite handy like that. And I use the firmer chisels nearly all the time, to be honest. I prefer the old steel, I really do. Now, the other chisel for which it is imperative, I say, that the sides of the chisel are perpendicular, 90 degrees to the flat of the chisel, the bottom of the chisel here. Now, this is a Mortise chisel. This happens to be a Sorby, Robert Sorby Mortise chisel. Sorby's good steel. It's a little bit on the softer side, so you get a really nice edge, but it doesn't last that long. But this is a bit of a beast. This is a socketed Robert Sorby Mortise chisel. Really nice chisel to use when you're doing nice big deep mortises or framing work. Yeah, I've used this thing a lot. Not so much recently, to be fair, but I have used it in the past a hell of a lot. It's a great tool. It really is. Now, what I mentioned a minute ago about eyeing up down the perpendicular sides and how important that is, that also applies to the Mortise chisel. Because when you're actually cutting your mortise, okay, you can use that face as a guide. But once you start cutting into your mortise, say for instance you've got, I don't know, a quarter of the way into your mortise, the flat sides will help maintain the chisel being straight or, in line with your mortise. You don't end up digging in the sides and going all, skew-if, like you would do if you were using a bevel-edged chisel. You see, it's having the right tool for the right job. Now, I know some people will say, well, I can't afford a million different tools. Well, what I would say to you is, don't buy sets. You might think you're getting good value, but get a load of chisels in there you'll never use. Seriously, you'll never use. Now, for me, the size I use, most of the time, would be this one, about 20mm. So like a 3/4 chisel. Okay, I use that a lot. And occasionally, if it isn't that one, I'll be using, say, for instance, something, but I want to do a lot of flat work, I'll be using that one. Because I get a really good edge on that chisel. Now, actually, no, isn't that one? Where's it gone? This one. That one. Which is also a Sorby. You get a really lovely edge on that. And it's a really good tool. See, old tools, don't dismiss them. They can be really, really good. But be careful, because some of them are crap. So what you want to look at is the maker's name of the chisel. Robert Sorby's are good, Braid's are good. But for me, my favourite is always going to be the, it's going to have to be Ward cast steel. It really is. You get tremendous edge on it. Quite, it is sharp and all. You get a fantastic edge on, and it holds the edge for a good long period of time. I've got planes around here with Ward cast steel forged plane irons in them, and they are brilliant. Make really nice edge to get with them. Now, another chisel they were dismissing was another form of mortise chisel. In fact, they didn't actually know what it was for. Now, the mortise chisels could come down to very tiny to not quite so tiny. And the mortise chisel is basically, it's got a strength in that direction. If you see here, it's narrower than it is thick. All right, it's all about the girth, and that is it keeps the wood strong for stability. Anyway, keep it strong and less likely to break. Now, these are quite often used for locks. Now, if you've got a cabinet, if you're the cabinet maker, you might have to fit a lock in the edge of a board with a key lock. Well, that's what these would be used for, little lock chisel like that one, and that's what that's for. These days, we use something, I don't know, like a route and what have you, to create the slot for the mortise, or you get the half round ones, can't you? Which you can use your you can use a biscuit joint to create the slot, something like that. Anyway, it seems a madness to me. Not madness, I suppose. I just feel that we're kind of moving away from, or losing the skills of yesteryear, and they're the ones that can keep us going tomorrow. If there's a problem in the world, it'll be down to the people who can make stuff to rebuild. For argument's sake, you know, carpenters, joiners, brickies, and what have you. The skills, masons, they'll be needed. You know, they're likely to be needed. You never know what's around the corner, do you? Now, the other thing is you've got to look at is the handles. Now, some handles have these nasty blooming bits of rubber on. Now, I didn't buy these chisels. My son actually bought them for me. You know, they're quite good chisels. I don't like the handles. In fact, I could end up changing them anyway. Put wooden ones on there. I'm pretty certain I could do that. The problem with the rubber handles is they make you sweat and they give you blisters. Same with plastic handles. The acrylic ones like these aren't quite so bad. Where you've got these clear ones, they're not too bad actually. They're not too bad to use. But the rubber ones are terrible. I mean, they're really bad. And also, these haven't happened to these yet because these aren't that old. But they tend to go sticky after a while, and it all breaks down. This is horrible. Always wear safety glasses. Have you noticed? I always wear my safety glasses. And I do have face masks, but you don't often see me wearing them because I make videos. But yeah, so got a selection of handles there. Some are beech, some are oak, some are boxwood. Probably the nicest hands are boxwood or rosewood. They're really dense grain, you see, and it's really nice. And you know, if you think of like a good quality mallet, carver's mallet would be made out of lignin vitae, which is a really hard timber, you know, really hard timber, really strong. Now, you see, it does annoy me a little bit when, because don't be wrong, we all make mistakes. I make plenty of mistakes. I get things wrong. Or when I make my video, I can't get the wrong words come out of my mouth. If you noticed, leave it in the comments down below. The wrong words come out of my mouth. And as such, I do know sometimes that I've made a mistake, but I need to finish the video. And so, quite often, like this video, I'm not editing. So what you see is what you get. And that is kind of me, to be honest. One thing I can't stand is lies, you know, and you've got to take me for what I am, really, you know. If you don't understand what I'm saying, like some people are saying, well, so be it. There's plenty of other YouTubers out there, you know, trying to teach you stuff. You can always go there. But for me, I just want to be able to share what I've learned over the years with people who want to listen, who want to learn and enjoy it, you know, because woodworking isn't just woodworking, it's just making something practical. It's actually a therapy, you know. It's good for the mind, body and the soul. Actually, I'm buggered. Okay, mate, just the mind. Forget the body. Yeah. Blimey. Anyway, you tell me, what's your favourite chisel? Well, this lot here, I would say it'd have to be the one I use probably the most. It's probably two, actually. It's probably this Robert Sorby here and this Ward chisel here. So, no, they're not the new ones. No, I've got loads of other chisels all over the flipping place in here, but these are the ones I thought I'd just share with you today. So there you go. Like I say, you tell me what chisel is your favourite chisel, okay? Don't be all hung up about it. It's not about snobbery or anything like that. Sometimes it's just about how it makes you feel. What feels right in your hands? What, you know, never mind what I say. What is right for you? Blah, 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 blah. Get my words out in a minute. Get the worms out, yeah. What is right for you? And that is what's important. You know, it might be an old chisel, or it might be a brand new one, it might be the Narixes. The only thing I'll say about Narixes, the Narix Mortise chisels are wrong. Okay, I've got to get this out of my system now. They're just wrong. Okay, they have these edges here on the side of the Mortise chisel should be perpendicular with the base of the chisel, back of the chisel here, or top of the chisel, perpendicular, like 90 degrees, but they're not. They're angled. They're just like a flaccid bevel edge chisel. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to say toodaloo, you know, but please boot the old like button. Helps the channel, you know, and maybe subscribe to the channel. And a little bell icon, don't forget that, because then you get one fancy feeling in your pocket every time I upload another video. Blimey. Toodaloo.